Drugi dzień Forum Ekonomicznego w Krynicy. Zapraszamy do studia Parkiet TV przy krynickim deptaku. Kolejnym gościem, pierwszym dzisiejszego dnia w programie Prosto z Krynicy będzie Petrem Koblicem, prezes praskiej Giełdy Papierów Wartościowych, dyrektor finansowy austriackiej Giełdy Papierów Wartościowych, a także prezes FESE, czyli Europejskiej Federacji Giełd. Uprzedzam, rozmowa będzie po angielsku. Hello Peter, nice to have you here in our studio.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Stock exchanges globally are facing the listings, falling turnover. It seems they're somehow going out of fashion. On the other hand, we have a rising interest or a rising popularity of crowd financing, private equity, venture capital, and all the non-public assets. How is your stock exchange dealing with this?
Well, I would probably say how the stock exchanges should deal with it, because our stock exchange is not doing anything else than the other stock exchanges. But you describe it perfectly well. I would probably a little bit disagree with the crowdfunding. You know, crowdfunding is really tiny part. There is a rather problem with private equity. You know, the private equity is taking the companies private from the exchanges. There is a huge, I would say, tectonic shift in the asset management from active asset portfolios to the passive portfolios, like the ETFs, which are concentrating only on blue chips, and that's leaving the middle-sized companies and the small companies without the interest. Those are huge problems. We see that shifts last 2-3 years, but delistings are happening already for a couple of years. And yeah, we need to take as an industry bold actions. We have to speak with regulators how to challenge this development.
Would you say that stock exchanges are over-regulated?
Of course, I would say stock exchanges are regulated, but not only stock exchanges. For example, with MiFID II and MiFIR came huge over-regulation even to the industry. Especially the retail trading industry. I think the trading for retail trading securities is most difficult in the last 20 years, definitely. We should probably a little bit ease the rules again, and this is one of the major problems.
Okay. What do you think is the scope for cooperation between exchanges of Central and Eastern Europe? Is there any scope for cooperation actually?
Oh yes, there is. You know, we talk for years together. There has been already some groups created. We have certain system synergies with a couple of exchanges between Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Zagreb, Slovenia. So there are some cooperation points we can do, but I believe there is much more we can do, because unfortunately we are still ranked as an emerging market region by some of the index providers, which is, I'm saying, unfortunately, we are part of United Europe, so why there should be a borders in Europe. But we are, and I think united we can achieve the situation where there will be more interest from the international investors to invest in our region.
What does the story of the Vienna group tells you? Because Prague is together with Vienna Stock Exchange, they form a group. But back in the days, also the Hungarian and Slovenian Stock Exchange were part of the group. The Vienna Stock Exchange sold the stakes in those exchanges over the last couple of years. Doesn't it suggest that actually the synergies between those stock exchanges are not that great as initially thought?
I would say they are not bigger than initially thought. Some of the people were maybe dreaming about bigger synergies, but frankly, in the relatively small exchanges in a relatively small market with a different language, different legal background, you can find synergies on the system side. You can sell together data, you can do together indices, you can do order books, and that's what you can do. But when you are speaking to the issuers and the sales to the issuers, negotiation with the issuers and some individual investors, that have to be done locally.
Okay, and what about the common index, let's say of the biggest companies?
I would say definitely that there are already some common index, but some common index sponsored by the exchanges would be very helpful in this situation. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your visit in our studio.
Thank you.
Przypominam, że naszym gościem był Petr Koblicz, prezes praskiej Giełdy Papierów Wartościowych.